All right, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting into session at this time. Of course, the second item will be the approval of the agenda and the changes. And we did note that we deleted item 8.7, an employee termination, this morning at the workshop. And so with that, colleagues, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So, go ahead, Dr. Kelly.
All right, motion by Mr. Bryant, second by Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Since there's none, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. That brings us down to recognitions, and we have 3.1, but I think we might push that one back and give it a few minutes. And so we'll go ahead and do 3.2, and that will be the, well, first of all, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Mel Ponder for being here this evening. But we'll go ahead and do the 3.2 Youth Leadership Council presentation. And so, Superintendent, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. White and School Board. First of all, I just want to say I could not be happier for you all to be here today, the Youth Leadership Council. And we go back a number of years ago, and Mr. Ponder, he came to me and said, hey, what can we do in this county to give the students of Okaloosa, specifically 11th and 12th grade students, a voice not only in the school district, but in Okaloosa County. And here we are today, several years later. And the neat thing about this is this group, each month they meet after school, and it's pretty neat to see that they have a fantastic chair who you'll hear from in a second, but this is student-led under the leadership of Mr. Ponder. And this group, each year, they come up with a project for the school district and a project for the county. And as you remember last year, they brought to us, vaping, and that's something that we really needed to look at. That was one of the projects, and we took action on that. So again, I could not be more happy, more proud to have students here being leaders, and I can't wait to hear the presentation regarding what we might be able to do here in our school district. So Mr. Ponder, if you'd come forward first, please. And you might have a few words and then introduce the group if you would.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you for the honor that you've allowed us to come be part of the meeting tonight. Superintendent Chambers, can't thank you enough for your partnership and willingness to see the vision of bringing these next generation leaders up to collaborate and work together and think about ideas to better not only the county but the school itself, school district itself. Already one of the best school districts in the state, so how much better can you do? But these amazing leaders have come together and thought of ways to enhance the great work that y'all are doing already in your leadership, so thank you for that. I want to thank Mr. Steve Horton, who was a pioneer with us as well to help plow the ground, and now Mr. Spolsky has joined the team, and so we're grateful to have his help as well, but couldn't do it without your support and your help. And these leaders, I'm in awe of the gift that each one carries and what they bring not only to our community but also to the school district. Each of their futures are amazingly bright. I love to sit and listen to them talk about what their passion and dreams are, and get just re-inspired again about the amazing ones we have walking among us that we don't always hear from. But tonight you get to hear from from our chair, and then 3 of her teammates that are here that are part of the youth council. And with that, Mr. Chambers, I'll turn the floor over to her and let her do the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much as well.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair.
Good evening.
Hey.
As I've been so kindly introduced, my name is Sophie Palm. I'm a senior at Baker High School, and this year I've had the honor of serving as the chair for the Okaloosa Youth Leadership Council. Our group aims to bridge the gap between administrators and students by bringing forth issues that are important to us. And this year, we've decided to focus on fentanyl. Fentanyl is an incredibly potent opioid that takes incredible precision to dose, and the problem in today's society is that it's being laced into things when people don't know it. Our goals for this project are to raise awareness about the dangers of fentanyl, start a healthy dialogue about substance abuse in general in teens, offer facts and resources that can aid in education and recovery, and join the already established Fentanyl Awareness Day campaign happening across the country. According to the CDC, fentanyl is involved in more deaths of Americans under 50 than any other cause of death, including heart disease, cancer, and all other accidents. Just 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal, which isn't very much. And one of the particular reasons this is important to us is recently, just on March 11th of this year, the Okaloosa Sheriff's Department released details of 2 separate fentanyl-related arrests in which they found 8 grams of fentanyl, methamphetamine residue, and marijuana residue, which is way more than it would take to be lethal. As I stated, we would like to observe the already established campaign of the National Fentanyl Awareness Day. Because it's already a public health crisis, that's why there's already an established day for it. This year, it will be observed on May 7th. It's a wonderful campaign that includes resources, statistics, stories, and ways to help. There is a link to the website in the presentation as well. As part of observing this day, we would like to have each school participate by announcing National Fentanyl Awareness Day during morning announcements, as well as playing the You Need to Know video, which is on the center of the National Fentanyl Awareness Day website. We would also like to encourage students to wear purple in support of National Fentanyl Awareness Day and distribute purple ribbons to be worn throughout the day. Our council has also taken the liberty of creating a One Pill Can Kill poster, which centers on all the facts and resources that can be used during this campaign, and we would also like to have that distributed throughout each school in high-traffic areas. This is an incredibly potent drug that is becoming more prevalent in overdose cases every day. The problem isn't that people are taking fentanyl knowingly, because that isn't something that they'll do. It's being laced into common street drugs. One pill can be lethal, which is why our poster centers on that. Drug use often starts at a young age, and that's why we, as the council, think it is so vitally important to start educating on things that aren't necessarily as prevalent, like fentanyl, which is a new thing to be covered. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, good, a lot of information. Well, Superintendent, looks like you've got some marching orders there, huh?
I think a few very good marching orders, and I'll have a couple words in a few moments, but school board, you might also have some words.
Sure.
You want to start?
Sure.
Izzy?
Well, I'm very proud of my Baker student there, Sophie. Yeah, that's great. I wanted to ask you, have you had much time to speak with the sheriff and the sheriff's department about this? I know she had a statistic, but how much collaboration have you been able to do with him and his department?
Yes, we have talked with Sheriff Eric Arden and his SROs, and we've decided that they will help us in distributing the purple ribbons, which we are funding through a grant, as well as the printing of the posters. And they will help us distribute the purple ribbons and help us find high-traffic areas and just help raise awareness about the day in general at each school.
And then one other question is, do you see a particular area or situation where this is more prevalent than others that you can give students an idea of what to look out? I know you said it gets put in laced with other things and all that,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
are you seeing any particular patterns in the, the use or consumption of the fentanyl? It's okay if you didn't. I'm just curious. There's no wrong answer. But
I don't think any that are coming to mind other than just being aware of how little it would take to be
yeah,
lethal
that's-
and to have bad effects.
Yeah, that's how deadly it is. Thank you.
And I think to that point there, and I know you all have discussed a little bit of this as well, from the marijuana to other pills, especially things that come from the street
Mhm.
there, where individuals think that they're purchasing one thing,
Mhm.
and then next thing you know, it's something else. When you talk to the sheriff's department, in essence, nightly, those Narcan, they're going around and they are utilizing that to revive folks. And I think what I've heard from the sheriff's department, we might be amazed at the amount of responses that they have to these type of situations. But again, it's I very much appreciate the awareness that you're bringing in. Again, I'll have a few other words, but go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Ms. Ivanchek. Mr. Bryant?
Yes, it's amazing to see these students up here taking an active role in being role models, especially for their peers. And, Mr. Chambers, I can concur about the fentanyl crisis up in Crestview. I know our chief of police gave a presentation not too long ago, and they had to use Narcan 7 times
Yes, sir.
in 1 week. So it's close. It's close to home, and but it starts with education, and I think students listen to other students better than they listen to us adults. So I think it's commendable what you're doing, and to have Mr. Ponder and Mr. Spolsky and Mr. Horton all involved in that, I know that's a great team there. So thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Kelly?
Well, I have several thoughts. First of all, as a former teacher of speech, I think each one of you has represented yourself and your schools very well, and your families, and your poise and in your presence. And certainly you, as the leader of the team, you spoke very well, and it's evident that you've done the research, and it's certainly a timely topic. And thank you, Commissioner Ponder, for leading this group. So it led me, while you were talking and presenting your topic, to wonder if any of the time when you were working on this project, did it lead you down a thought of a career path? Like, I mean, I can see very evidently research, marketing, medical, technology, all of these other things. Did any of that have a thought while you were working on the project?
Yes, ma'am. I'm currently employed as a legal assistant at a local law firm in Crestview, which has led me to a lot of pondering about what I'd like to do in my future. And I think I'd like to study law and go into public policy. So this campaign has certainly led me down that path.
That's wonderful.
Fabulous.
Any of you other three that haven't spoken? No?
I'm interested in the medical field and definitely like looking into the fentanyl crisis. You see how it has a lot to do with, you know, policies like Sophie was saying, and so just kind of looking more into like the public health area and kind of healthcare as a whole and what doctors can do about things like the opioid crisis is definitely piqued my interest now.
That is great. Do you want to say anything?
Genesis, I would like to commend Genesis. She was sort of the spark that led this idea. She's doing she goes to collegiate, and she's doing a senior capstone project on opioids, I believe. And she has done a lot of the research and been absolutely vital in this project.
That's wonderful.
I'd like to know the other students' names and what schools.
Okay.
Corbin Lemire, Niceville High School.
Okay, Corbin.
Miller Winsley for Walton Beach High School.
Okay,
Genesis Jimenez Chavez, Collegiate High School.
okay. All right, great, good.
Mr. Chair, just for
Yes,
the
sir.
record, Corbin's going to Texas A&M next year. Genesis, I reluctantly like to say she's going to Florida. Miller's going to Georgia Tech, and Sophie is going to the Florida State University.
Yay.
Save that one for last, yeah.
Well, congratulations to you all. You did a very
Yeah.
fine job.
Great.
Yeah, and I'll just add, so much has already been said, but thank you for all of this good work, and Commissioner, and also Superintendent, you and your staff. And when I said marching orders, there are clearly some things in here that will need to be administratively detailed, and I know that you'll work on that, and your commitment to this matter, along with the vaping that you spoke about, is very, very evident to me, and I know to the rest of the school board. And thank you students for what you're doing. You're helping kids, students, and we're very grateful for that.
Very proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, sir?
And the last thing I would say is, I've had the opportunity to speak with each of you in different venues, and where Dr. Kelly said about being well-spoken, even though a couple of them might be a little shy tonight, they are very, very well-spoken. And I know we have another presentation that's going to come before this board as well as it pertains to fentanyl in the future. But Mr. Spolsky and Mr. Horton are going to work alongside these students right here. We're going to make these recommendations come to life. And Dr. White, if you would join me down here, and Mr. Ponder, if you'd come forward as well. We just have a little something for you of appreciation. It's just a You want to give the other two? Okay, sure. All right, we're gonna take a picture together. So come on over here. You guys are gonna face this way.
Thank y'all. All right, so that was really good, and so it brings us to 3.2. Do you know if we're good? Okay. So, excuse me, 3.1. So 3.1 will be the recognition of Jennifer Castro Morales, Choctawhatchee High School 2024 Florida High School Athletic Association Girls Weightlifting State Champion, Traditional and Olympic Divisions, presented by Superintendent Chambers. Superintendent?
Thank you, sir. It seems like almost every school board meeting, we're recognizing a state champion from Okaloosa. And tonight's the same. And I do want to say that we have with us Miss Jennifer Castro Morales. And I always like to say, and you hear me say it every time, it's one thing to win a state championship. It's another thing to put the work in to win a state championship. And when you're at the actual meet and you're competing all season, that's where the glory is. But the glory wouldn't be there if there wasn't the early mornings, the soreness, pushing through the pain, pushing yourself further than you thought that you could go. And I'm sure that there were some tears at time. So it's all those things that I think is fantastic. And winning a state championship, only the very small percentage of individuals achieve that. If we were to ask folks in this room right now, who's won a state championship, and I might do it, raise your hand if you've won a state championship in high school. And you can see there's about 4 out of the folks who are here. And I so wish I was able to raise my hand, but I never achieved it. But this young lady, listen to this. So the 119-pound weight class, state champion, traditional and Olympic division. And listen to these weights. The snatch, 145 pounds. The bench, 180 pounds. The clean and jerk, 180 pounds. And in the traditional division, in total, 360 pounds. And in the Olympic, 325 pounds. Now, if I were to pose that question again and say, raise your hand if you think you could do that right now, probably nobody. I know Mr. Martello's not putting his hand up. So nobody is raising their hand on that. And before we have Ms. Heck come forward, our school board members might also have a few words for Jennifer.
Well, I think it's so exciting. Like you said, we're seeing more and more of this, but it doesn't get old.
Nope.
It's one of our favorite parts of having these meetings. And of course, this time of year, we start seeing some of those awards. And you're right, it's just what you've reaped through a lot of hard work. And so it's exciting. And at the risk of might make somebody mad, but we've seen a lot of females come in through the last few times, which is nice. So a little girl power going, and so I'm very proud of her, and I know that'll be exciting tonight to recognize her. Thank you. I know who was booing.
No.
Oh, y'all are woohooed.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
they
do
were
that
woohooing.
again. Go ahead. Oh, let's go it again. Girl power. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bryant.
And congratulations. Mr. Chambers is correct. I cannot do that no more. I couldn't even do it when I was your age. So, but this is a night where it's all about Choctaw High School. And coming from the north end, we can say, go Big Green. Congratulations.
Good job. All right.
And I'll
Kelly?
just echo that. Congratulations. I can barely see you around there, but congratulations. That persistence and that focus definitely paid off this time, and it will again in your future, I have no doubt. So congratulations.
Yeah, and me too. Congratulations for a state championship. We now know that there are lots and lots of very, very positive health benefits to weightlifting, and I know that you'll continue that in the future. But again, just congratulations. That's awesome. Okay? All right, super.
Ms. Hack?
Good evening.
Hey, Principal Haig.
Thanks for having us. Before I call Jennifer Morales and Coach Johnson up, I want to just make sure I brag on both of them for just a second. You read off some very impressive weights that everyone in this room can nod our head to Jen that we cannot do that. But some things that don't often show up in the statistics are the behind-the-scenes things that Jen does. I met Jen when she was a sophomore 2 years ago when I went to the girls' weightlifting state championship in Little Port St. Joe. That was the first time I really had a chance to talk to Jen and get to know her. And from the very first time seeing her in her element of weightlifting, it was very clear that she is determined. She is a hard worker. But fast forward over the course of the last 2 years, it's the things that I got to see her do outside of weightlifting. It's the things that Coach Johnson reiterated. She's a very quiet leader, but she is in fact the leader of the Choctaw girls weightlifting team. She is one of those that handles things without anyone's attention. She does the things that maybe no one jumps at initially. She takes the initiative. And then what all of her teammates would echo, and she will probably blush when I say this, is she is one of the most kindest, thoughtful individuals. For example, they might be at a team meal out at a restaurant at one of their, away meets, and she's the one that has all the team pre-bus their table, all their mess, neatly stack their dishes so that the waitress, makes it easier for the waitress. She knows that Coach Johnson is tipping the waitress, but she makes sure the girls puts in and takes care of who's taking care of them. She is that kind of individual. And again, you've heard me say this before time and time again about students. It's the kind of individual student that means the very most. And Jen is a state champion, no doubt, but it is the kind of person she is that I'm so proud of. So congratulations, Jen. And before yes. And just to be very clear, Coach Johnson has been a staple in girls weightlifting, among other sports at Choctaw, but as the head coach of girls weightlifting, this is not his first state championship that he has helped a girl weightlifter achieve. He is the backbone to this program. The girls absolutely respect and love him for everything that he is, how he coaches females. And make no mistake about it, as a football coach, he coaches males too, but he has the right gift in coaching female athletes. And I'm very proud of him. So congratulations, Coach Johnson, for everything that you have done. So without further ado.
I brought my ones from last year because I still want it, and it was my first time being there.
Yeah, let the thing play.
Yeah, it's what hard work really pays off because I've been lifting since my 8th grade, 7th grade years when I fully started, and then my 8th grade year before COVID, I managed to do my first competition as an 8th grader, and I won. I got first place, and I was like, I'm good at something. And I was like athlete of the year in Pryor Middle School, which is where I went. And I did like volleyball and soccer and track and flag football. So I had tried them. And once you go to high school, it gets more competitive and more people start coming and there's more challenges. And I'm willing to take up a challenge always, but I wanted to do a sport that my heart is willing to do, and not just my mind. So my mom would say, just play a sport and give it your all in that sport, even if it's just one. So one day I was like, I'm not going to do this sport and that sport, and I'm just going to dedicate my time to weightlifting. And so I did. Then Coach Johnson came, and then another coach of mine, Coach K, she came in, and I went through a lot. I went through very, very tough workouts. I don't know how I managed to go through that, but I managed. And then when I got 2nd and 3rd place, I was like, I'm so close. because I managed to get second place and first place by 5 pounds, and then third place by 10 pounds to getting first. And I was like, I'm like so close. And then, so the next year, I was like, I set my goals, and then I'm gonna achieve these goals by working hard, by doing extra sets, by putting extra weight, by taking care of myself, by stretching more and doing mobility, and all this extra work that people don't usually do, just so I can achieve that one goal, being state. And obviously, I tried to attempt for the state record. I tried it and obviously didn't get it, but I still tried it. And it gives me a reason to want to do it again, because I have competition this weekend for I do USA lifting now, because I have bigger goals to achieve now. I compete nationally in June, so there's that. And I just want to set more goals and achieve them and make my mom proud, always. Thank you.
So I'm going to speak without using the mic. So it's my second year of my second stint as girls weightlifting coach. And our motto is the girls run the program, and it's all about them. I just give them some direction, and they're in the weight room, and they just go to work. And Jennifer's one of those leaders, like, she's a quiet leader, and she leads by example. She's the first one in, and I have to chase her out sometimes. But she's there, she's puking, she's bleeding, all of those things those cliches, but she's actually done them. There's trash cans in the weight room that she's left some remains in. But they put the work in. And our program's all about promoting the girls, promoting just good physical health, good mental health, great relationships, and them having a positive experience in our weightlifting program. Sure, we want to win state championships, but I want them to have a positive experience so that when they go home, it's something that they missed and they want to come back to. And so we have several that are continuing their weightlifting career outside of high school. And today we started again, and the girls were leading that practice in the gym. So I'm very fortunate to be their weightlifting coach, and I can't ask for anything better to do. And that's it.
Mr. Bryant, go ahead.
So, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Listening to this young lady right here, I'll tell you, we hear a lot of students come up and give a presentation, speak, but I will tell you, because of your leadership and listening to this young lady, I mean, it does my heart good to hear that she is setting goals, and even though she might not get to the top, she's got her heart there to try to go for those goals, and I think that's incredible. You're going to go far in life, young lady. So I'll just tell you that. Keep doing what you're doing. But Coach, congratulations. I mean,
thank you.
That's pretty awesome.
He's the best.
Yep.
He's the best coach anybody can have.
All right, Sue.
Dr. White?
Okay.
Coach Thigpen,
Thank
come
you.
on.
All right, friends, so that takes us through Section 3 and brings us to Section 4, and that would be Administrative Personnel Appointments, 4.1. Appointment of the Assistant Principal 2, 10-month to Florosa Elementary School, recommended by the Superintendent. Superintendent?
Thank you, sir, and school board. I proudly bring before you Ms. Sherry Chavez as the Florosa AP. In 1997, Mrs. Chavez was hired by Terry Hecker Bavino, that many of us fondly remember, as a varying exceptionalities teacher at Longwood Elementary. During her 17 years at Longwood, she taught 3rd, 4th, and Title I reading. She assumed several leadership roles to include Title I coordinator and SAC president. In 2015, Ms. Chavez left Longwood to serve the district as an ELA coach. As a coach, she supported Florosa, Destin, Kenwood, Wright, and Eglin Elementary. This position provided the experience to work collaboratively with district staff, administrators, and teachers. In 2021, Ms. Chavez transitioned into the school counselor position at Florosa and hopes to continue to support teachers, staff, and families in the position of assistant principal. Ms. Chavez met her husband Dennis while attending college in Tallahassee. That's a good place. After graduating, they returned to Okaloosa County in 1991. They have 2 children, Reed Chavez and Blake Turner. Both children attended great schools within the district to include both Choctaw and Fort Walton Beach high schools. Ms. Chavez's family grew by 2 this past summer as Reed and Blake both had baby boys on the same day.
Wow.
Ms. Chavez.
Yes, all right. So, colleagues, I need a motion.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Devanchak.
I'll second.
Second by Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations.
So I get a little emotional, and after hearing those young people speak so eloquently, wow, you know, so impressive and so encouraging for our future. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve the teachers, families, and students of Florosa Elementary. As Mr. Chambers stated, I had the honor of working under Terry Hecker Bavino. Those of you who have been in our district for some time will understand the impact of Ms. Bavino's influence on developing teachers. My philosophy of education and leadership continued to develop over the years through my experiences with great instructional leaders and administrators, some which include Marie Wilkinson, Mr. Chambers, Ann Flanagan, the instructional coaches with whom I served, Cindy Gates, and last but certainly not least, Dawn Massey. In 2015, I was hired as the ELA instructional coach at Florosa. It did not take me long to realize the Florosa way. This is where I get emotional. For my Florosa family supported me both personally through trials and professionally through triumphs. How lucky am I to have the opportunity to continue serving this great school as their assistant principal. Last and not least, a special thank you to my family whose love and support throughout the years have made me the educator that I am today. You were always in my corner, encouraging and cheering me on, and I could not do this without you.
Very good. Thank you.
Get a picture.
That's right. Yes, yes, you know, you look at him. Come on, yes, come on.
We need a couple on the other side.
This way? All right. Going this way? This way? There, there.
Thanks, Tim.
I believe it looks great because I can see everybody's face. Which is what we want. Awesome.
He didn't count.
right, colleagues, that takes us through section 4, brings us to section 5, public comment. We have no blue cards this evening. Section 6, committee and staff reports. There are none this evening. That brings us down to consent agenda, section 7. So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bryant,
I'll second.
second by Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. All right, so let's slide on down now to section 8, superintendent's human resources, business and recommendations. 8.1 is information only. 8.2 is also information only. 8.3, employment separations, presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent. I need a motion, please.
I'll move it.
Motion by Ms. Vanchak,
Second.
second by Mr. Bryan. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 8.4, personnel recommendations presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent. Motion, please.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Bryant.
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 8.5, employee transfers presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Kelly, second by Mr. Bryant. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 8.6, employee suspension, presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent.
So moved.
Motion by Mr.
I'll
Bryant.
second it.
Second by Ms. Vanchek. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 8.7, deleted, as we noted. 8.8, employee termination, presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent.
I'll move it.
Motion by Ms. Vanchek,
Second.
second by Mr. Bryant. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 8.9, leave without pay, presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bryant,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. Vanchek. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 8.10, reinstatement, reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination,
I'll move it.
presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent. Motion by Dr. Kelly,
Second.
second by Mr. Bryant. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 8.11, employee suspension, presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the superintendent.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bryant,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. Vanchek. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. There are no items on discussion agenda. It brings us to section 10, program owners representatives business. Dr. Kelly, you told us you had a meeting and I got your paperwork, so it looks like you did.
We did.
So go ahead.
We had a very triumphant meeting, and you have both the long version and the short version in your hand. I'll be going over the short version, hitting the highlights for you. If you're looking at Program 6, Task Order 12, these are the district-wide sales tax construction projects. The first item up there are the multipurpose buildings. Completed to date are Fort Walton Beach, as you know, Crestview High School, and Baker. In the works, Choctawhatchee and Niceville, soon to be followed by Laurel Hill. And the cafetorium, 6 of those are all listed there for you. We have Edwins, Wright, Ruckle, Plough, Bob Sykes, and Shalimar. The roof has been complete at Ruckle, and the roof has been begun at Plough. And Bob Sykes is the last one that we'll work on, and that one will be begun as soon as students are out of the building. That brings us to Task Order 16. That was Phase 2. Those, if you remember, are the front entries and the canopies. Phase 1 of that task order was the roofing. We've already reported on that. So, and here you see the material for the Lewis School front entry. That was a very custom ordered brick, has arrived, and that work should begin tomorrow with that new brick veneer. The roof structure was installed at Choctawhatchee High School's front lobby building last week. The exterior framing is ongoing. If you've driven by there, everything is looking good. They're working now on the mock-up of the exterior look, and from that, you'll look at Task Order 17. We have nothing to add there, or 18. Task Order 19 is Richburg School Building number 12 renovation. The exterior sidewalks and new fencing make that one look much better as well. Task Order 20, that was our priority roofing projects. The roofing projects at Fort Walton Beach High School are progressing with about 85% of those roof coatings completed. The work at Silver Sands roof has been completed. The roofing work at Ruckle has begun, and the kitchen building roof tear-off is complete. At Niceville High School, you remember that one had a lot of roofing areas to be replaced. Building 400 roofing is complete. Building 700 tear-off work is done, and the tear-off of existing Building 10, that's the locker room or next door to the driver's ed room if you're familiar there, that area is complete. Nothing to add to Task Order 21 and 22 tonight, so we'll move on to 23, which is the high school auditorium upgrades. The new auditorium seating was installed at Crestview High School just in time, and the new house lights were installed in time for Mr. Jackson's upcoming production of Newsies. Task Order 24, Central Administration Complex Renovation Phase 1. I think I mentioned this morning, I walked through there, and it looks phenomenal. That's going to be such a beautiful asset for this district. I'm so excited for everyone who will be living in there during their work hours. Task Order 24, Central Admin Complex Renovation Phase 1. If you noticed today when we were pulling in, I needed to add that you saw the vans out there with the filing cabinets and the furniture, so that was put in today, I believe, so another exciting area there. Task Order 25 is complete, and 27 is on hold at the moment, as are 28 and 29. Task Order 36 is done with the exception of Wright. They need one little repair added there. So we'll move down to Destin Elementary 3, 4, and 5. The design development drawings were received, and those are under review currently. Portable relocation planning is underway, and no one could be happier about that, I'm sure, than those that were inhabiting those portables. Task Order 42, prior middle school flooring replacement. That new flooring has been installed in the media center. So that brings us to your update for tonight. And I'll just like to say, for those who are watching and who really love to keep up with this, please remember you can always go to Okaloosa County's website, and that there is a tab for construction projects, and that is updated monthly. So if you're interested in keeping up with that, do be sure and check the construction tab on Okaloosa County's website. And then the only other thing I'll mention is the Sales Tax Committee. The next meeting is May the 7th, right here in this room at 4 o'clock. That's all I have.
Dr. Kelly, yeah, thank you for that update, and I can tell you guys covered a lot of
We did.
material, and you were there for quite some time to
We
give us
were.
all this information, and congratulations to you, superintendent, staff, and to all the folks that are making all this good stuff happen.
A lot of good
Okay.
things happening across the
Exciting
district.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that takes us through that item. 10.1 brings us down to Section 11, our attorney's business. Mr. McInnes.
Yes, sir. One item tonight, we have a request from an employee for a disciplinary appeal, and this is employee 109765, and we'd recommend that you refer that over to Division of Administrative Hearings.
All right, so you need a motion?
Yes,
So
sir.
so moved, Mr.
Motion by
Dr.
Mr.
White.
Bryant,
I'll second.
second by Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? There's none, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Superintendent, you got some out-of-state field trips, and I know you covered some things today in the workshop, and if you have something else, please share.
No, I think we covered what we needed to this morning, and I will say at approximately 8:20, there might be a title game on tonight between UConn and Purdue, and we'll see what Purdue can do tonight, but nothing further.
Okay. All right, I got the hint. All right, so we're working on it. All right, so that takes us down to board members' business, and so, again, we covered some things today, but Ms. Ivanchek, do you have anything that you'd like to
Yeah,
cover tonight?
a couple of things. I wanted to kind of back up and just make a comment. I know she's gone now, but about Ms. Chavez being, I was very excited. I've known her since being the board member, and she's been the guidance counselor over there. You know, the culture at Florosa is just a fabulous one. It is truly a learning environment. and they really are a family out there. So I really see these two ladies, along with Principal Massey, as a real power team. They're just going to continue to make things even better out that way, and I'm excited about that. It's good that she's been there. She's already a part of that culture, and so there's not going to be any transition, but it's going to be wonderful. And of course, Flor Rosa is one of those schools of excellence that were named and everything. So also, we've talked about it's the month of the military child, and I just wanted to say hello to Miss LaJeunesse, who's in our audience tonight. She is our military liaison person, and thank you for being here and spreading the purple, and we appreciate that. And I didn't know if you had something real quick that you needed to say.
Well, she has a yellow card, so.
Oh, okay,
so
then we'll let her do it on the yellow card.
We'll come down
Okay,
with
because
that.
she had mentioned
Yeah.
to me that she was going to say something. Okay, we'll move on to that, but that's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Mr. Bryant?
No report tonight.
Okay.
I did not get the information I needed from what I was going to report, so I'll get them the next time.
Okay,
So,
yeah, we'll got a second chance coming soon.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Kelly?
And Dr. White, I made quite a few announcements this morning, so I just have one more to add, and that is that we are only about 45 days away from the end of the school year. It's
Yeah,
rolling
got
by
it.
quickly.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Who's counting, right?
Well, a few of us
All
are.
right, I understand. And of course, today I congratulated the state champion Choctawhatchee archery team, and so I'll do that again right now, real quick. And with that, that takes us through board members' announcements and brings us down to section 14, public comment. And so I do have a yellow card from Ms. LaJeunesse, and if you'll come forward, the attorney will give you the rules that we follow here, 2 minutes, and Mr. McInnes, if you'll go ahead and just kind of give her the info. I know she probably is familiar, but.
You'll have 2 minutes to make your presentation, and we would ask that your remarks and statements be addressed to the chairman, and that the concerns you discussed tonight should be related to educational issues in our district. Items pertaining to personnel matters are under the responsibility of the superintendent and are not routinely handled by the board here. And speakers and the public attending the meeting are asked and requested to act in a respectful manner. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Mr. McGinnis. Thank you, Board. Ms. Ivanchek, Ms. Kelly, Mr. Bryant, and Mr. White. Mr. Chambers, thank you for supporting our installations through the Panhandle area, but especially the 96 Test Wing and our total force members within Team Eglin. As you are aware, April is Month of the Military Child, and if you'd like, I'd like to hand this out to you so that you can see what I'm going to be discussing. So why is April vitally important to the military? It's vitally important because our military students make sacrifices right along with their parents as they are in deployment status, as they PCS, as they move from one country to another country, one district to another district, and one state to another state. During a military's life, pretty much in 20 years, they will probably PCS 9 to 11 times. That makes it very stressful, inconvenient, but our families are super resilient. So this flyer basically highlights the sacrifices that military students take and do working right along with their parents. There's approximately 1.2 million children that are active, that are part of active duty families, and many of those have experienced long-term deployments, which are 6 to 8 to 9 months, and they're going every other year. This also highlights, each of you received a button or a pin to highlight this year. I have created a program called Innovating Academic Excellence Through Partnership. Our installation won a national award and also did Okaloosa County School District, and I continue to develop those and create those in collaboration with Mr. Horton.
That's the
So,
timer.
okay, 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I thought I had 3 minutes.
it's 2, and I mean, I hate to do this, but if
Okay.
I don't stop you, then everyone else will expect the same.
I'm
So,
sorry. I wasn't watching the time.
As you wrap up, I think you had something there?
This is an honor cord. This was an innovative idea, and over the last 4 years, honor cords have been given. I have purchased them in my office from our team and our leaders. Mr. Spolsky has been a part of that. And all of our principals in the high schools are honoring military-connected students by giving them a patriotic cord, and they walk across the commencement for 2024 with one of these cords.
Very good.
So
Well,
thank you for your time. I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you,
All
that's
right.
great.
All right, colleagues, that takes us down through all the items on our agenda. Is there anything else here at the dais that we need to talk about? Anything from staff, association? We're good? All right, this meeting's adjourned.